Hey everyone, it's Stacey with Nutrition Jobs and another edition of Dietitian Career Success. I'm very excited to have my friend on with us today, Yvette Quantz. Hello, Yvette.
Hi,
Thank you for
I'm
being
so happy to
here.
be.
I know,
Yes.
we had a lot of fun chatting before we hit record, and I'm very excited to share with you, my audience, all that Yvette has to share with you. She's got a lot of really great pearls and insights into how she's been running her nutrition business, which is something she will share all about. But also, she's been a great friend of mine, a dietitian friend for years. We see each other almost every year at Fancy, the annual conference, because we both share the same birthday. So we always have fun in October talking about and celebrating our birthdays together. We have a lot of parallels. And one is that she is an entrepreneur. She's got a lot of great stories about what the trajectory of running your own business looks like, but also some really interesting pearls. So I do want to have her share a little bit about her business. I think you will really learn a lot about that. So Yvette, tell us a little bit about, well, let me start actually and do it for you. So when I first met you, you were building out this amazing business called Customized Nutrition Newsletters, which was a really great idea, and it still is. It's really amazing. And then you recently have created something even bigger, more impressive, and super helpful for dietitians and health professionals. So please tell us all about your business.
Well, I will start by saying I am a dietitian by heart and by trade and by training. So the development, and I am an entrepreneur probably by blood. The start of customized nutrition newsletters came from the work I was doing with one-on-one clients when I was working in a fitness center, building a practice. And this is like before things on social media got huge and Facebook and all that. But I saw the need. I saw those influencers at the time getting big, sending emails, selling their stuff, but I also saw the need of members, of people, of human beings needing that one-on-one with dietitians. And I still believe all these years later, no matter how much technology changes, evolves, and is being used, and it can be used for good, people are still going to want to work with people. I mean, I still want to have a talk with Stacey, not the AI bot of Stacey. People are still going to want to have that, but we need technology to automate systems and to enhance and also keep us in front of the people we're serving. Like, so it's being smart with that marketing side. So when I was there, I was seeing this need, meeting some amazing dietitians who were really, really smart, really clinically smart, knew way more than I did, but they did not have that personal connection piece in their practice. And so I kind of had this idea of like, what if I could create and share? I was looking for a newsletter service. I was first doing a newsletter in my practice. Then I had baby number one and a busy practice, and it was like unable to keep it all up. So then I started looking for other solutions, but nothing really allowed my voice, my brand, my to be it was could have had my business card or something, but it wouldn't have been truly or my wouldn't have been really me. So that's where the idea of customized nutrition newsletters came from and started in 2010. Started by having a library of articles and I started selling the service. Some of the articles came from other sources, some I wrote. Today, everything is from the library of what I've written over the past 15 years. But I was copying and pasting these newsletters and building it. And I'm like, this is not going to work. In the hospital, having baby number two, copying and pasting. And when she hears that story, she is horrified. I'm like, well, you weren't in the room with me at that time. I was like getting someone's, and I was like, this is not a solution. Why can't I had this vision for how can technology be used to make that human process of build, copying, and pasting work and make it easy and affordable for dietitians. And so that's when I started on the path of custom development and software development. That path led into what we have today, which is a custom app that can integrate with other platforms. And being a dietitian by trade, obviously, there's a lot of things I've learned and through the years. And a year ago, I had to make the decision of like, we had to make some big software updates. And it was, do I have something worth saving? And I'm completely being honest, you're saying this. Or so am I going to save it or am I going to go back and just rebuild my private practice, get into some speaking. What's the next step? And so through that process, here I am. Joined a local incubator, a tech startup incubator program. And today here I'm to share Affy Health.
I love
And
this.
I'm so excited because it is still the same service. It is still the same solution, but it's better. Like, we've made the software tech updates that are better. The vision, the mission, the purpose, it's so much clearer and stronger. And I'm really excited to share where things are going and how to serve and ultimately help empower dietitians stay connected with the people they serve.
I love this. I'm going to do a little summaries. When I met you, you had created this amazing program for dietitians and health professionals. That is the newsletter, a packaged newsletter. You can choose the different articles from the library. And that's a great way to connect and market to your target audience, who you're in private practice, to your patients or your clients, whatever you call them. And then sort of fast forward, then really revamping the back end of your service and offering it under a bigger picture with more services, more options, now called Affy Health. So can you tell us how did you come up with the name Affy?
So I've wanted to change the name of customized nutrition newsletters for a long time. Yes, it's clear, states what it does, but to me, it was always, I was like, it couldn't evolve with me, and I needed something to. So as I was digging in and looking for what I knew, I wanted a short word. So that became big. And then I had a few domains picked out, like all of us entrepreneurs, you probably have like a gazillion domains in your Google or GoDaddy account. And then I was like, wait, how did Jeff Bezos name Amazon? He started with an A for directory listings. And I know one of the goals and visions forward is being in a directory for other integrations. So I started looking at A words, and the word Affy like jumped out. And when I looked at what it meant trust and confidence. It's a old British in the British language. So, and the foundation of why I started this is to help build trust between dietitians and the people they serve. Help build trust for, I say, humans, keeping that human touch in the tech-driven world. So that's how Affy has evolved and been born. And I'm really excited to continue to share things with the mission of enhancing trust.
Well, I think you bring up a really good point. And I think that is what of the beauty of having a newsletter, having a direct touch point with your client, even if they're not coming in to see you or you're not going to have a virtual visit with them, having a newsletter, whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever it is, I think it's a really great way to connect with your person, with your ideal audience. And the idea, obviously, is that you should be a very trustworthy, authentic voice self that they feel like they can trust, that they can work with you, that they can spend money on you, right? Like it's really, that's sort of the bottom line, is to have that authenticity. And I think you brought up something really good too, right? Like there's so many new changes in technology, and AI is very tempting to sort of outsource everything to ChatGPT or Claude or whichever one you like to use. And yes, that is efficient, but is that really the way we want to go, right? I mean, I think it's helpful, but I think what you're saying is that, especially with the title of your company, the name of your company, it really instills that there is this sense of authenticness and connection and realness that you can provide. So I love hearing what you have to say about that.
And using AI, AI can help us work smarter, and it can help with things, but still everything has to be reviewed. You still have to have that human touch. And if you let AI do everything for you, there's a balance there. And we're all leaning into that and learning more and more about it.
Yeah, I think everyone's sort of learning, like, how are you going to use it? I use AI, some sort of, chat version every single day. And I don't think I've ever like taken exactly what it is that they've supplied and published that, whether it's the blog or a social media or an email a social media content, that I don't think I've ever used exactly what they've provided. I've always given some of my voice to it because it feels funny to, especially from a small business like myself and with your business, that you want the voice to be of your own. And so tell us, maybe you and I can talk a little bit more about newsletters in general and sort of the value of newsletters. I have a weekly newsletter, about that as well. So tell us, why would a dietitian in private practice want to have a newsletter in the first place?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons. And I'm going to start with like collecting and having the names of the people who want to hear from you. Social media is a great way to maybe create visibility, gain some new followers, but and we've seen what's happened when TikTok shut down and Instagram, I think Instagram shut down at one point. I mean, when all that happens, you lose all your followers and all of it. Having your email list, building that community through that, you're capturing the names of people who want to hear from you. Even in my case of like, so I have this service that I've created and I use, and I've been consistent of publishing content and sending it out. We do some white glove service for some clients, but it hadn't always been for mine. Okay. So, but I've gotten more consistent, and I've had people call me like, I'm so happy to see you back in my inbox. And I was like, I used to receive your stuff years ago, and then I'm seeing you again, and I want to set up an appointment. So people, when you're in their community, or when you have had some type of connection with them in the past and they hear from you, they want to. And that's the secret sauce, I think, for long-term success. It's balancing that virtual world with whatever that human touch is. And the human touch can be a virtual session, but people want that human touch. So a newsletter, it is economical. It is a way that you can stay in front of them on a regular basis. I believe we have a duty as dietitians to also educate. And I think probably most of your listeners are like, yeah, that's why I got in here. It's a way that you can educate. And I say educate, empower, and inspire people to take action using your newsletter as a meaningful marketing piece instead of thinking you have to go full on marketing. I love to use the phrase marketing with meaning, because you're sharing valuable information, but you're also marketing your services. And the system that we've built makes it so easy. And I'm really proud of it, because in less than 10 minutes, you can truly create and send a customized newsletter with a wellness article, nutritional wellness article, recipe, inspired quote, and you can even like feature a product you might sell or a link to your full script shop. You can even add a little customized intro to make that personal touch, all your colors, your logo, all of it. No copying and pasting. I mean, it makes it so easy so that you can still maintain your voice, but not have to do every single thing. Because you don't have to recreate the wheel, especially when it comes to a lot of this nutrition education.
Yeah, I think
Like,
that is like the beauty of having a ready to go service, is that as a dietitian in private practice, you're busy working with your patients, you're busy getting referrals from physicians, and so being able to have all the benefits of a newsletter, but have someone else sort of take care of the heavy lifting of it, I think is genius. I think the other great thing about newsletters is that it gives you a chance to be able to market your actual services, so or be able to sell different products, or maybe get sponsors, or ways to make money from that. So thinking, you might be thinking, oh, it's an expense, it's a time commitment, there's a lot of involvement in creating this newsletter, but in the end, hopefully it can generate revenue for you, for your practice, for your business. Lots of
absolutely.
reasons.
We have when setting up a business profile, when you're setting up an account, you set up your brand colors, your logo, all that, but there's also a place you can set up product info. Like if you have, whether it's a link to a full script store or your Amazon store or another product that you sell on you can set that up and it's just in there every month. You can change it out whenever you want. And you can, in addition, also add any news and events. So you can use that as a rolling advertisement. Makes it really easy.
That's great. I like that. And I think the other thing, as we didn't mention before, is that anytime you have a topic in your newsletter that gets sent to someone's inbox, you can put a link to the blog article that can continue over on your website. You can put a link to a recipe that they can find on your website, all bringing back traffic to your website, which in turn can get them back onto your platform. But also, if you are taking any ad revenue from any companies like, AdThrive or some of the other ones, that can give you more traffic. So that's another reason why to have a newsletter.
A lot of reasons for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's go behind the scenes a little bit. I always like to hear how people work, or how they structure their day. Can you give us a little day in the life of Yvette running Affy and customized nutrition newsletter?
So yeah, so I wake up early most days. I actually teach Pilates. It's kind of I teach a reformer class 3 days mornings a week, early morning. And I am such a people person. Like I love being around. So in a great club here, and then get to my office after bringing my kids around 8. It varies from day to day.
It does,
Like
right?
it,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really does. Like there's no typical day. This past year has been so much of like learning so many things about other things that are out there of how to improve services, systems, networking outside. And networking more in my community, which has been awesome. So it varies. Like I'm sorry, I don't have a typical day.
Are you still seeing patients?
A little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit, yes. Especially because this has been such of a investment to
to get
bring
off
up the
the ground.
pieces and the advancements that we made. I mean, we made advancements to where you can actually send small newsletters called the Bite, where you can just do one article and well notes. So we've made some great advancements. So
Tell
yes, I
me,
am
so
still seeing.
I knew about the newsletters, but tell me more about Well Notes. I don't know about that.
So Well Notes is one of the newest features that's in customized nutrition newsletters. It's a PDF solution. So you can nail, and like yesterday when I saw a client, she was having issues with constipation, and I knew that I had an article in my database on that topic. So I went in and I searched not as the owner, I searched as a user of customized nutrition newsletters. Okay. I searched for constipation, and then I could go in, add her notes of like session notes, and then I sent it and downloaded it as a PDF. And so she was able to leave with, well, first, like her notes from our session with information, notes about constipation, all with my branded food therapy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So great connection for
So
the
that's called
really help
Well.
your client. That's really wonderful. That's good. I know that you have a tiered subscription level for the customized nutrition newsletters. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So we have the monthly subscription, we have unlimited, and then we have annual. So we also have, and I sent a link, your readers, everyone's going to get this link, but the founder special is $99 for unlimited access. And you also get unlimited. So you get the well notes and the newsletters. It's an incredible system. I mean, you
Yeah.
get between, if you take advantage, so we implemented this way of creating and sending smaller newsletters to where you can send just one article called the Bite. I mentioned that. So you could send weekly newsletters. You could also use that in programs that are paid. So you have a little group program you're running, maybe they just get weekly. So there's lots of ways you can generate more revenue from that investment.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So again, a little more behind the scenes. I always like to hear what people have learned, what you've learned, what skills you've gained through this process. I know you've been super busy and you've learned a lot. What are some tools that you've used? Some computer tools or programming tools or organizational tools? What are some tools that you have used that you think would be helpful for other dietitians to hear when running a business, starting a business?
So setting up those systems that collect and like for automations, and my systems integrate with MailChimp. And I know that people have mixed feelings about MailChimp. MailChimp has been bought by Intuit. They have elevated their game so much. So this past year, really accessing landing pages, I mean, all the different things from that is huge. WordPress, obviously, I think that's huge. Finding ways to collect information of through like jot forms or something to where you're actually able to learn from your customers, like learn. I have a place on Affy's site where you can actually submit any requests for future integrations, like so that we can start seeing who else, what other companies do people want. So I think any company should have a way that maybe people can share feedback. So you
Mm,
can start collecting data to think about where things are going to go in the future. So those are,
yeah, those are great.
yeah,
That's really
yeah,
good.
I think that's.
Yvette, I know you've done a lot of thinking through your business. You've done a lot of self-development and you've learned a lot. You've done the incubator program. What advice would you give other dietitians for ways that they could be as successful as you or as fulfilled? Maybe you can share a little bit of insight about that.
I think continuing to lean in to the hard stuff, to pay attention to what's pulling your attention that's good, and then also what's like calling you to do but you're resistant for. Like you kind of know you need to, but you don't want to. Leaning into that resistance, I think is really, it's empowering to really find out what have you been resisting it. It's not as hard as it actually is. Coming back and self-reflecting of like making sure, are you still aligned with your business in the direction it's going? What do you need to do to change it? Because if you're not, your marketing gets really hard. because you're no longer aligned with it. Your messaging gets hard. If you get out of touch with your consumers, with your client, with the people you are serving, then you forget of this work that you're doing. To me, that's really important, is like staying connected in ways and checking in, like, do I still believe in this vision and mission forward? And if not, how do I need to pivot? If so, what do I need to do to change it? If something's not working, what do I need to change?
Yeah. A lot of thinking that goes into that, but you're right. Like, I think that's the most fulfilling way to move forward in your business. I think a lot of dietitians who are in private practice are in business for themselves, right? So there's a lot of different ways to run your business, and being able to think through clearly, like you've learned, that you've experienced, is so helpful for other dietitians to hear.
And
Another
I want to say,
question.
I do want to say thing about rebranding. That is not something to be taken lightly. Like, I'm very glad and I'm very excited and proud of where things are going. And I believe it's what we needed to do. But the layers, especially since customized nutrition newsletters was so long around and the software's all built there. So like that system's all in place and like that's not changing. But the layers and going into, so if you're thinking like I'm bored, I'm frustrated, like this is coming from someone who built way too many websites. Like really be intentional and think through if you're gonna rebrand. I'm glad we did it, but this was the right time. Like,
Yeah, so rebranding, although will say that one benefit of rebranding is that you get to push out to your audience once again. And in your case, it's B2B or dietitian to dietitian, like, hey, here we are again. We're all fresh. We've got something new for you. Pay attention. I've got some more marketing for you.
it's
So,
true, but that's where you have to be intentional. Like when you are rebranding, will you be able to fully deliver on those promises of what it sounds like fun? Like, because initially it is kind of fun, like thinking of new color. I mean, that's the part's fun
right,
to,
the details of it, right?
but will you be able to stay in line with that? And that's the part that I am confident about. Like, I am so excited about where
Yeah.
things are going to go with Affy.
Well, I love hearing your energy. I love hearing all that you've done. All right, thinking about dietitians, knowing that most dietitians are not satisfied with their salary or their compensation. Not everybody, but a lot of dietitians are not satisfied. What advice do you have for dietitians to make more money?
Always thinking outside the box, thinking how can you think outside the box, and watching the rabbit hole of being around people who are always complaining, because that's not going to bring anyone higher anywhere. So thinking, what can I do differently? There are, maybe it's teaching at getting yourself out there, like the Pilates. I mean, just thinking outside your norm, get creative, and back to getting involved in your community. Because a lot of times it's easy to get stuck behind the computer and then we just get in the online world and you can hear negative, you can hear positive stuff, you can hear inspire. But being out in the community, your eyes open up to other needs and other opportunities of things you can do.
I think it does. It just gives you some proximity to potential clients. I was saying this on another podcast that my pediatrician is always asking me, can you provide direct nutrition care for our practice? And I always say, no, I run a job board for dietitians. So I can't. But the point is that being out there, making that connection with other physicians, whoever it might be, whoever your client base is, like just getting out there and seeing them. And maybe it's a referral. Maybe it is a speaking engagement. Maybe it is a friend of a friend referral. Like there's, I think what you said is so great, is getting ourselves out there. And like you said, also not to pay too much attention to a lot of the complainers, like get out there and be a doer. I think that's really helpful with tools, right? Not
With and reminding, like showing our value, but not screaming our value.
but not complaining about not getting your
Yes.
worth, right? Like, I mean, I think it's legitimate to talk about it.
Screaming, I mean, no. I guess when I say screaming is not being closed-minded to, because when a physician comes at first, they want to be the hero. So how are you going to make them the hero? That's a lot of times true. So how are you going to sell your services that what you do helps that that other professional who's going to refer to you.
That's a great perspective. Yvette, I'm so excited about your new venture and your new business, Affy Health. I think it's going to
It's
be
not a new business. It's
well,
just
it's
a
not a new
rename.
business,
So it's
right?
the same
It's got
business.
a new skin, a new face.
New skin. It does have new skin. It has
Yeah,
it's got a
so it's
facelift.
wonderful, and still have the trusted, established, customized nutrition newsletters, which is a really great. This is not a sponsored podcast or YouTube video, but it's a really great product. So I do hope you guys, the audience, can check it out. You'll have all the information down below. Yvette, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you,
all of
Stacey.
your wisdom with us. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
Hopefully,
yes.
we'll have you back on in the
I
future.
would love to. Yes. All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for everything.